Good morning, everyone. I will give a brief overview of the project, very quick, and more focus on what we are presenting today. So this is a Sector Skills Alliance funded by the Erasmus Plus program. It's called European Qualifications and Competences for the Vegan Food Industry. And this event is in the European Vocational Skills Week. Is framed in this European Vocational Skills Week. So we are preparing vocational training, and that's why it is in this Skills Week. So I'm very happy with this event. We have registered more than 200 participants, and you can see here they cover the whole planet. Although I think it's a little bit difficult for the people in America to attend the event this time. I think we didn't think about it when we planned the event for the morning in Europe. But anyway, we have participants from all continents, and we are very happy with it. So I will speak about starting to speak about the partnership of this project. We have 15 partners from 11 countries, from Turkey to Finland to Portugal. You can see here they cover a little bit. The darker blue, it means the higher number of participants. We have 3 participants from Turkey, including the ministry, Food Industry Association, and the university. So in general, this project also has, apart from this that I just spoke, a qualification agency, universities of applied sciences, vocational schools, training organizations, and industry federations, and also associations of professionals. This is coordinated by the Polytechnic of Coimbra, and then we have the other partners that are full members and also associated partners, the Deusto University, and also a Polish organization of food technologies. So I will briefly divide this presentation in 4 parts. I will speak about the driving forces for the vegan trend, the vegan trainings that is the main purpose of this event, to show you what we are doing. Also then briefly about other tasks that we are going to do and how you can participate in this Sector Skills Alliance. So first, the driving force for the vegan trend. We can these driving forces are the main force, also driving force for this project. And then we could divide these driving forces in, well, we could discuss this in another way, but I will point here these factors. The veganism trend that is growing, some trend in diets. People are worried with their diet of consuming a lot of meat, and they want to, they are choosing, some of them are they're eating less meat because they think it's healthy. But also sustainability issues it's a fact that is pushing many people to eat less meat and eat more plant-based products, and especially in climate change. This is a main argument, and that scares people, that they feel the climate changes, and some arguments that related to the climate change are related to the excess of meat consumption. So this is also an argument that makes consumer to move towards more plant-based diets. Well, there are several numbers. I just show you here an example where we have a few vegan consumers, a little more vegetarian consumers, but a big portion of the consumers nowadays is becoming flexitarians. That means they don't give up eating meat, but they eat much less meat than they are used to. And this is probably the biggest share of the consumers that is changing the food industry and asking for the food industry to produce other alternatives, plant-based alternatives to meat products. And if you look at the meat consumption, we can see a big variation on the meat consumption. Usually it's related to the GDP per capita. The higher the GDP, the higher the meat consumption, but still for the same GDP, you can see big variations. For example, you can see Turkey here with eating 40 kilograms of meat per year per person, while Argentina is eating more than twice. So even for the same GDP, there is still a big difference and room for decreasing the meat consumption. Other argument that leads people to eat less meat is plots like this, that this is well-known plot from The Economist, where you see the CO2 production caused by beef. It's enormous. It's even much higher than the air travel. And so this also scares people, and this is a good argument for them to eat less meat. Studies on climate change also. We want to avoid an increase of 2 degrees in the planet until 2100, and we studied this study that I present here says that if we opt for plant-rich diets, we can have a 50% chance of just increasing 1.5 degrees, not to the 2 degrees limit. Although, of course, there are many other policies that can reduce this, of course, using energy sources, not so much as fuel, more gas, for example, more renewable energies, but also reducing the waste, etc. Okay, there are many things that we can do to try to avoid the increase of these 2 degrees Celsius, but just by eating plant-rich diets, we can decrease the probability of achieving this 2 Celsius degrees increase. So this made lead, all these factors may lead the consumers to eat more plant-based products, and of course they then
we cannot see your presentation anymore.
Really?
It was just disappeared.
Okay, and now?
Not yet.
Now?
No.
Oh. Okay. That's strange. I will stop sharing and share again. Now?
Now we can see it, yes.
I can see it, okay. And
Thank you.
Now? Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Thierry.
So this growth on the plant-based food market is higher than previously expected. And we can here identify a few types of consumers with a higher income that are willing to pay for high quality products that are more sustainable and clean label. Young consumers that are more sensitive to these arguments of climate change and sustainability. And also the parent of young children that are worried with their children, of course, and they are able to spend more quality time together as a family and prepare more carefully the products, especially plant-based food products. Then again, we can see many trends. This is just one example of exquisite, let's say, products like potato milk, vegan pork, vegan chocolate, not so strange, but vegan eggs, and etc. Vegan seafood, and you find many trends like this where people are looking for many analogs of meat analogs or dairy analogs or fish analogs mainly. Again, also to highlight consumer trends, just to point out, this is a general study on consumer trends, the ethics check, and this is affecting also a lot the food industry, because we are talking about people that are even worried where the products are coming from, if they are being produced by children, for example, or they would not buy it, or also the ones, the vegans, they are very about the animals, the care of the animals, and they avoid also the animals by an ethics attitude, let's say. So we are now, Gemma, are you seeing EQVEGAN trainings? I think it's when I move to this slide. Okay. Yeah. We are talking about the trainings. We have basically these four big trends. Why we are doing these new trainings? As I told you, the change in the food industry towards the vegan products. Also the change towards the industry 4.0, that this is a trend for all industries, not only for the food, but of course the food industry is changing towards the industry 4.0 as the others. Circular economy arguments, producing less waste, using valorizing the byproducts of the food industry, and also a skills mismatch. This is a general policy of the employment. Usually it happens, of course, there are industries that are changing, they are losing jobs, and then the people coming from those industries, they don't have the skills required for the new jobs, and this skills mismatch must be recovered. And it's our role as training organizations to try to overcome this skills mismatch by providing new trainings. And you can see in plot in this data, for example, that the higher the labor productivity, usually the lower the skills mismatch in the country. And so this is also the reason also for the funding of this project, that training organizations provide new training to upskill and reskill workers to overcome this skills mismatch. So our trainings are being prepared for three basic occupations. The food operator, usually that requires studies at the level 4 European Qualifications Framework, level 4. This means vocational secondary education. The food technician, that usually requires level 5, the short cycle in higher education. There are some differences of this definition among the countries, but in general, we can say that the food technician is at level 5, and the food technologist or the food engineering that requires studies at level 6 or 7. It means bachelor and master. These occupations are defined in the ISCO, International Standard Classification of Occupations, and in ESCO, the European Skills, Competences, Qualifications, and Occupations database, that are aligned. So we are preparing the trainings for these levels, and also for the trainings on these for these levels. So we divided our training in 4 modules: plant-based processing, green skills, digital and automation skills, and soft skills. And so we'll have a brief view of the trainings in this event today, one for each module. So in terms of plant-based processing, we want to focus more on technology of meat analogs, fish analogs, dairy analogs, egg analogs, vegetable drinks, and others. Also, some notions of highlights on nutrition, of course, that is really relevant for these trainings, and food safety issues, and also food product development. On the green skills, we are focusing on energy, water, waste, critical points, on food waste, especially targeting consumers, because consumers still produce a lot of waste nowadays. Waste management, food byproducts, circular economy, green economy, and the environmental footprint. On the digitalization and automation skills, we are focusing on ICT, basic ICT, and working with different softwares like traceability, also on automation and on effective cooperation with automation specialists, basic understanding of automated systems, identification of common sensors in automation, etc. on robotics, different kinds of robotics. So we think that the food occupations must know how to identify the different types of robots and select the devices for the automatic handling of products, etc. And we also prepared some material for the teaching of some electives. We say that the first three topics are most relevant, but you know that additive manufacturing, machine vision, artificial intelligence, they are also, it's knowledge that it's also useful for the food occupations. I think this module is probably the most innovative for the current curricula in higher education and in the vocational education in the food science and food technology. Soft skills, you know that they are relevant, and especially with the Bologna reform, there was a lot of focus given on soft skills, and we identified the new training for these skills. They are and we divided for the food production operator and the food technician the same skills: problem solving, active listening, team working, and ethical understanding. These are the most relevant and needed at the moment. It doesn't mean that they don't need other soft skills, but this is the training we prepared because some of these trainings are lacking, especially on ethical understanding. And for the food technologists, we are preparing more training on more skills because they are supposed to be leaders of teams, and so we prepare training for leadership, for team build management, but also for additional interpersonal skills and like self-management and self-awareness. And also in terms of problem solving, again, the same as for the other occupations, but additional to critical thinking. Try to develop more skills on critical thinking. And so these are the trainings that we are preparing, and we are showing a little bit of them today. But additionally, we'll be working on certification and work-based learning. In work-based learning, we will have a database on opportunities for internships and apprenticeships in the food skills portal, another portal of the project. And we will also supply guidelines for work-based learning and recognition of prior learning, because the work-based learning is irrelevant, but not enough recognition is given to it. So we are going to supply and prepare guidelines to support, to help training organizations to recognize these into credits for their degrees. Also, we prepared changes. We are going to suggest changes for the ESCO profiles, or occupational profiles in ESCO of the occupations that I told you: the food operator, the food technician, and the food technologist. And we will prepare certification of job profiles. This will be led by the work that will be led by the Zeki Food Association. So we have two websites that I invite you to visit. The EQVEGAN, it presents the project, the partners, and the main results. And then it connects to the food skills portal, where that will be maintained after the project by the Sector Skills Alliance, where we have more details about the training. We have a database about the internships and traineeships, and where you can register as a stakeholder. And also the information about the certification will be available here. So I invite you to become a stakeholder if you're not yet, where you'll have access of the trainings for free. And also you will have access to the materials that you can use in your own trainings. Of course, the materials then will be free. We just have to acknowledge the project. We also would like you to invite to participate in the Learn at the Work Placement program, where we'll have a database on internships and apprenticeships. And so let's say be the first to get all the outcomes of the project by being the stakeholder, and start to be part of the Sector Skills Alliance that will be maintained after the project and constantly updating the trainings that we are now preparing. So I thank you for your attention, and here I leave my contacts in case you want to contact me. Also, the address of the two websites of the project, the EQVEGAN Journal website and the Food Skills portal.